Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Mastermind. I'm Paul Baxter, Implementation Coach for the Mortgage Mastermind Group. And we're here to help you grow. Guys, got a great class for you today. Not a super long one. We may not take up the full hour. Depends on what questions you've got after today's presentation. But I don't anticipate this being a full hour presentation today. Kind of short and sweet, but it is very, very specific and very pointed. And it goes in a long way in supporting what we've been talking about with personal branding. We've covered the bases on personal branding, and so we're kind of going in a little bit different direction. But what we're going to talk about today, the big three lists that you absolutely must have for a successful mortgage business. It goes to support what we're doing with our personal branding, and if you incorporate those strategies and think about these big three, the three lists that you must have, if you think about these things today and how it relates to your personal branding, you're going to be able to really do some wonderful things and make a kickstart into your business this year. So that's what we're talking about, is the big three lists you absolutely must have. So all branding, everything you do in marketing and promoting, it all has one specific purpose, and that's to help you build your database of people to build a relationship with. That's the whole purpose of any and everything you do marketing-wise, is to help you build a database of people that you now have a group of people that you can begin building a relationship with. Once you have the relationship, that's when you get trust. That's when you get those referrals. That's when past clients refer you. In the mortgage business, there are three very specific groups that you must be cultivating at all times. And those three groups are, you got your pen and pad out? Current referral partners, prospective referral partners, and clients. And when I say clients, I'm talking about the whole thing that encompasses clients, prospective clients like your leads, people that have done business with you, people in process, your clients, the people that are the consumer, the end buyer. Those are all what I consider to be clients. Okay, that's your big three. How you use your database of those three categories is really the measure of your success in your business. It's, you guys have heard it a million times. I'm not telling you anything new or different. You guys have all heard that old saying, he with the biggest database wins. The gold is in your database. You've heard it said 1,000 different ways. But the reality is that these lists are where you make your money. In the mortgage business especially, this is where your money is generated, is in your databases. And so what we're going to talk about today is separating those three databases into the three different categories that I mentioned: current referral partners, prospective referral partners, clients. Those are your big three that you need to make sure that you are focused on and doing something to cultivate those relationships, to do something to market to those three databases. And here's how they're different. So your current referral partners, you're going to make a group in your system. If you don't have a system, make it in a spreadsheet. I don't care how you make your system, but you're going to make a separate list of just these people. You must do something to nurture the relationship, that you've already have with these current referral partners every week. Every single week you need to be doing something to nurture the relationship with your referral partners. I'm sure I'm looking to see who's on the call. Everybody on this call is familiar with Michael Mayer's 7 levels of communication. And I think he put this brilliantly, and I've seen this in I've been through, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's called Sandler Sales Training, and they have a very similar thing. They call it the communication pyramid as well. And Michael's is a little more in depth than what the Sandler Sales one. The Sandler Sales one has 3 categories. You're either mailing and emailing, you're either talking to them on the phone, or there's face-to-face. Those are the 3 levels with Sandler Sales, and I could not find their pyramid to post here, so I found Michael Mayer's. And it's the communication pyramid. So think about it in terms of your referral partners. Advertising is kind of the foundation. Direct mail, electronic communications. Me personally, I would kind of flip direct mail and electronic communications in today's environment, because we've talked about it before, the 147 emails that the average adult in the U.S. gets compared to the 5 or 6 pieces of mail that they get. Handwritten notes. I think direct mail and handwritten notes go hand in hand with one another as well. Then there's that phone call, that opportunity to speak and have a conversation with the person. Events and seminars, again, a huge thing. It points out the importance of presentations that we discussed the entire month of December. And then the almighty one-on-one, face-to-face opportunity. That's what it's all about. Those are the levels of communication and how much influence you have in those levels. And you need to be touching base in all of the areas to make sure that you're not only giving yourself a good foundation, but you're solidifying the relationship with that communication, that face-to-face opportunity. So for your referral partners, remember that loyalty must be cultivated. That's a big thing. There are many, and I do mean many, loan professionals contacting your current partners, the people that you, right now, if I asked each and every one of you how many referral partners do you have, you'd all have a little bit different number. Some of you would say 5 or 6, some would you say 2 or 3, some would you say 10 or 20. It doesn't matter what your number is, but I promise you, whatever your number is, those people that you consider to be your partners that are loyal to you, they are being contacted by other loan professionals the same way that you were before they were your partner. They're contacting them. And just like any relationship, just like your husbands and wives, your children, I mean, every relationship, complacency in a relationship is the absolute #1 killer. So you must work on keeping your partner relationships every bit as hard as you worked on getting those partnerships. So at a minimum, you've got to be doing a weekly email. Remember, going back to that foundation, that's kind of your foundation of your communication with your partners. I'm going the wrong direction. At a minimum, a weekly email. What I recommend is that you pick up the phone once a week. If there's no loans in process, yes, you still got to pick up the phone once a week. If there's loans in process, follow through with your normal follow-up plan, your normal communication plan, your normal weekly status updates. That'll be sufficient because that's solidifying the relationship. But when there's not a loan in process, pick up the phone and call those people that are your partners once every week. Treat them to coffee or lunch at least once a month. Get face-to-face. Remember the pyramid. Face-to-face is the ultimate in relationship, in communication. That is the ultimate. So make it a point to treat your current partners to lunch, for coffee. Treat them to a happy hour drink once every single month. Get together. Get face-to-face with every partner at least once a month. Send an appreciation card after every single closing that you do with them. Every single time you do a closing, in addition to the other things that you do, send a card that just says, I just want to let you know I appreciate you and your trust you have in me. I appreciate you. That's all there is to it. And do that after every single closing. Don't become complacent after the 7th or 10th or 12th closing because you're locked in, you're doing great stuff with them. Don't become complacent in the relationship. Send that appreciation card after every closing. Those people are your business's stability. The people who are your current referral partners for new purchase business that are referring their clients to you, that is your business's stability. Maintain the relationship as if your business depended on it. And that means making that once a week, taking the time to make that once a week phone call to everyone you consider to be a partner, whether you've got a loan in process or not. Take the time. Spend the money and take that person to, treat them to a coffee or treat them to lunch. Bring a coffee to their shop when you know they're super busy and they can't get out. And you know they absolutely love the Vente Cafe mochas with an extra shot. You know what they like. Build that relationship by taking those extra steps. For prospective referral partners, Make a group in your system for just these people. If you don't have a system, make a spreadsheet. It doesn't matter how you do it, but make a separate list for just these people, the prospective referral partners. This is the second of your big three. This list is only for true target referral partners. And what I mean by that, this list is only for the agents that you've targeted that are above average. They're not the 6, 8, 4 transactions a year people. This is not a segmented list. One of your top three is not a list of all the agents in 3 counties around you. That is not your prospective referral partner list. This is a targeted list. You're going to spend the time, you're going to spend the effort, you're going to take that amount of energy and business time in creating relationships with these people. You're going to do these things, as I mentioned, and you'll see in the next step here all the things that you need to do. Pick up the phone, make a phone call, do a video for them, to cultivate, to generate and differentiate yourself, to create that relationship. You don't want to waste your time doing it with those average real estate agents, with what you don't want the 6 transactions a year people. You want to make sure that you're spending making your effort towards the agents that actually have the ability to work with you, right? And so to do so, you're going to focus on a manageable number, and that manageable number is your number. I'm not going to yell at you and tell you that I got this shiny Rolex from calling 40 people every week. No, I'm not. Your number is your number. I am going to tell you that it is very important that you set a manageable number, because once you begin this, you cannot. It is imperative that you remain consistent with your delivery. You remain consistent with your message, and you take the steps and do everything that you can to develop that relationship so that you can add to the number of referral partners that you have. So if your number is 30, that's fine. If it's 40, if it's 50, it doesn't matter what your number is. Make it a realistic, manageable number. Your prospective partner is working with another lender, so do things that help you stand out in the crowd. Remember, the goal is to create a relationship. So what's going to help you stand out of the crowd? What parts of the communication pyramid are going to help you better differentiate yourself from everybody else so that you get that face-to-face opportunity, so that you can create that relationship and add that person now to your referral partner follow-up or your referral partner database cultivation system, right? To differentiate yourself, and I recommend that you do each one of these things. You send a weekly video, a video email to your prospective referral partners. I highly recommend, and this should be number 1 on the list, is call every single week until you get a face-to-face meeting. Now, if they tell you to beat it or go away, that's fine. Take them off the list and add a new target to the list. That's okay. That doesn't matter, but you're going to call every week until you get that face-to-face, or you're told to go away. You're going to invite them to your training seminar or webinar. If you're not yet doing your online presentations, invite them to a webinar that you have access to that's training for agents. Here's a big one. Send an appreciation card if you get that face-to-face, or if they do attend your seminar or webinar. Send them an appreciation card. That's differentiate yourself. Every single partner prospect that you have, you should be connected to on all of your social media. They should be a connection on LinkedIn. They should be a friend on Facebook. Look them up on Twitter and find out if they're tweeting stuff. If they're not tweeting stuff, cool, you're off the hook. If they are tweeting, hook up on Twitter too. These people are your business's best opportunity for growth moving forward. So all it takes is a relationship to move them into your referral partner, which are your stability for your business. Your prospective referral partners are your opportunity for business growth. Treat them like that. Yes, this looks like a large list of things, but it really isn't that large of a list of things. Now you have to think about the third aspect of your big three, and that's your client list. Make a group in your system for just these people. If you don't have a system, make a spreadsheet. It doesn't matter how you do it. I don't care what you do. Just make a separate list for just these people. Guys and girls, this is a very, very special group because in the overall scheme of things, a recommendation from a past client or a client that you're currently working with to a potential another lead carries more weight than any other type of lead generation that you get. A recommendation from a client, someone that you've worked with, or a person-to-person, a consumer to another consumer, it carries 10 times the weight than a real estate agent saying, hey, you should call my guy. That's my guy situation. This is, you should call this guy. I used him. You'll like him. It is such a very different situation, and that makes this a very special group of people. Now, that very special, people trust, we'll get this point out, people trust when a friend, relative, or coworker refers them to someone. They trust that. People don't usually put their neck out like that. If you had a bad experience, I'm not going to recommend somebody that my friend's going to have a bad experience too. My coworker's going to have a bad experience. No, I want my coworker to have a good experience like I had. Yes, I'll give him their name. You need a good mechanic? Yeah, call my guy. Oh man, you got to switch up from Bright House to Fios. It's so much. It's referrals, and that's how those are so much more weighted. Your client list are people who are more likely and willing to refer you, and that's a big thing. Your clients are going to be more likely to refer you that had a happy experience than anybody else out there. But there are two litigating factors. Number one is, do they know anyone who would need your services? They're not real estate agents that are exposed to hundreds of buyers every day. They're not actively looking for the 5 to 7% of population who is in the market to purchase or refinance a home at any one given time in their area. They're not actively doing that. So the number one thing is, do they know anyone right now who would need your services? And the second factor is do they remember who you are when they discover that they do know someone who needs your services? Those are the two main factors. You don't have much control over number one, but you absolutely have complete control over number two. Make sure that you connect with every single client and lead on social media. Add them to your list on Facebook, and if you don't remember that, go check out the class we did on the Facebook formula, where you can create a list and just look at the news feed of only your clients and leads. Deploy the Ed Narwhal birthday strategy, which most of you are doing, which is everyone gets a call on their birthday. Have a list ready to go, and it's preparation that takes place with that. Some of you have people that work for you that can do that. Some of you do not. It's preparation, and those are some of the steps that you need to take with your database and having a separated list, which is why it's so important to separate these lists, whether you got a system or not, and include the information so that you can send them a birthday card. Send a quarterly appreciation card once every quarter, no matter what the season is, for no reason whatsoever. You could do the old I like you, the whole Joe Girardi car salesman tactic where he sent the postcard, I like you, on there. It seems a little corny, and quite frankly, in this day and age, it might have been a little different in the 50s and 60s, but in this day and age, it might be a little bit weird to some people. So why not just I appreciate you? Or thanks again. It delivers the same kind of message and gives you the same kind of impact. Whatever it is that you say on your card or postcard, you have to be doing that quarterly with your past client database. Email a weekly video. It's a great reason to send something weekly if it's a video. If you start sending your past clients a newsletter weekly, guess what's going to happen? They're either, one, going to opt out, or number two, they're going to disconnect, and what happens is you now become invisible in the inbox. You become one of the check boxes. You don't ever want to become one of the check boxes. One of the check boxes means when you check your mail, and I know most of you on this call do the same thing, you open up your mail based on the sender, maybe even the message, you go through, and the first thing you do is you check a box next to all the ones that you're not going to read that can be deleted right away without clogging up your inbox, so you can see what your actual emails are, right? You don't want to become one of those by sending them a newsletter all the time. They'll get bored with that. Mix it up. The video is a great reason to send them something weekly. You can't make them know someone who is in need of your services, but you can make sure that they only think of you when they do, and they're more than glad to refer you. Really important goes a long way in talking to your referral partners. And that leads us to the moral of the story, and again, guys, it happens on so many of the different strategies that we deploy and so many of the different strategies that you implement in your businesses. We're led right back to time blocking. How do I get all that done? That's 3 different weekly emails to 3 different groups. How can I call all those people in 1 week? How can I get all that done? In reality, these are tasks that you can accomplish in just a few short hours per week. And so let's break down the timeline for you guys. I want to show you what the timeline actually looks like in implementing this. Email everyone weekly. So if you implement the 2-hour-a-week video that we did last week, that adds 0 time implementing that to all 3 of your databases, adds 0 time to your weekly schedule. Now, if you start doing an invitation to partners and prospect partners for your presentations, that's 30 minutes maybe added to your time. So total additional time, that's 30 minutes. Now, phone calls, if you're not doing them, this may be the biggest hit for you. But if you're already doing them, it's no big deal. You've just got a better way to do it. So if I had 40 prospect partners to call, that's about 2 hours of time I need to block. For 20 referral partners, people that are already my partner, and that's an awful lot, 20 referral partners, it's probably going to take me, because those are a little more meaningful, take a little longer conversations. I'm relationship building with those. I'm not just trying to get you face to face. So I'm going to give myself 2 hours for those 20 calls. Let's say this week I've got 14 birthdays from my past clients. That's 2 per day, and it's highly unlikely that you'll get 2 per day. That's about an hour of calling. That's 5 hours, 30 minutes, not 3 minutes. That's 5 hours, 30 minutes total additional time. Now, if you add in the 2 hours for the weekly video, you realistically need to block out about 7.5 hours of your calendar each week. That's it. Total on working on your business activity. You talk about it all the time. We spend time in the loans, and I gotta make sure my docs are in, and I gotta do the follow-up stuff. That's all good. What I just showed you is a way to implement the strategy in your business right now that takes 7.5 hours a week. And if you block out those 7.5 hours a week, what you're going to accomplish is branding to your past client database. You're going to do relationship building with your current referral partners. And you're going to do business growth with prospective referral partners. All in that 7.5 hours. And that's so much more. You're getting a weekly video out. You're doing emails every single week to everybody. You're making those calls. Those calls are turning into people liking you, wanting to meet with you face to face. You can have a strategy designed for the big 3 in literally 1.5 hours a day. So I showed you a way just now to spend literally an hour and a half on your business per day and literally explode your business. You're calling your referral partners, you're working on your past client database, and you're working on building new partner relationships to build that referral partner base. In 7.5 hours a week, an hour and a half a day, on a 5-day work week, an hour and a half a day. It all starts with the list. It literally all starts with those databases and making sure that you've got those 3 databases sorted, separated, and you have a clear-cut plan now for marketing to them. Take the time now to create these lists or groups. Whatever you've got to do in your system or on a spreadsheet, take the time now to do so. Tie in the things that you know about personal branding, and you can mine for the gold that's in your list. And that is today's presentation, guys. I told you at the beginning it was short, but in my personal opinion, one of the better things that we've gone over, and hopefully you guys kind of take heed to the message being delivered here. It's about your database, and you really don't have to have 1,000 real estate agents to focus on. You need to have a focus group. You need to have your core group that you have a relationship with, and then you have a subgroup, a little bit larger probably, that you're looking to develop a relationship with, that are truly targeted, that you know that if you can develop a relationship with them, they're going to be able to do business with you. And you're working on getting more referrals from the people who already know, trust, and like you. They've already done business with you, and they're going to refer you their friends, their family, their coworkers as soon as the opportunity presents itself. No, you're not going to make them have that opportunity, but you can certainly be in the forefront of their mind when it does occur. Guys, this is a business strategy that literally is just one of those simple things that when you break it down to to the lowest pieces, it really is quite simple to deploy in your business. And frankly, 7.5 hours is not a lot of time to have to invest on your business as opposed to the things that you do working in your business. And that's it, guys. Are there any questions about today's class? I know it was short and sweet kind of thing today, but I mentioned that at the beginning. Not a super long class because I'm not showing you click this, click that. Nothing techie today. Trust me, we will be getting back into techie as the week progresses. We're going to start talking about some. There's been some changes made with some of the automated posting services that allow you to automate some of your social media stuff, and so we're going to be talking about some techie stuff as we go through the week. No techie stuff today, so that kind of takes away the click this, click that. No questions either? Oh, question did come in. Oh, let me pop that open there. All right, James, let me do this. I'm going to stop. Chris, if you want to go ahead and stop the recording.